Hello and welcome to Writing a Lease, brought to you by APM, American Property Management. Today is our third video, lesson plan number 3, Tips for the Do-It-Yourselfer. Today we're focusing on leases. You'll need to check with your state government on the issue of contracts and leases. They can vary from state to state. In this video, here's a brief idea of how to follow, what to do in your lease, what to include in a lease, importantly, what not to include in a lease, what not to do. And once again, keep in mind, laws vary from state to state, city to city, county to county. Check with your local authorities when putting a lease together. Okay, you've got options and decisions to make in creating an agreement with a prospective tenant. First thing we should ask is, what is a lease? Simply, a lease is a written agreement between a tenant and a landlord. The lease agreement explains the tenant's rights and responsibilities, the landlord's rights and responsibilities. The words used in a lease should have everyday meanings. Landlords must use leases that their tenants can read and understand. And all written residential leases should be written in plain English and so that they're easy to follow. The print size in a lease should be large enough so that the lease can be easily read. Some states actually require the font size to be no smaller than a size 8 font. There's many different ways to create a rental agreement. The first one would be a month-to-month verbal agreement, not highly recommended unless you know the people, your tenant. But let's go to number 2, a written month-to-month or a short-term agreement. This is where you need to check with the state and local laws once again. In resort areas in states like Florida, a tax can be imposed on a short-term rental, similar to a hotel tax. Thus, for safety's sake, write a 6-month, 1-day lease. If the tenant stayed 4 months or 5 months and left early and didn't stay the full 6, are you going to chase them for that 1 month? No, they probably told you they want to leave. You could just go ahead and re-rent the property and let them out. If you wanted to chase them, it's going to cost you more to chase them in legal fees to collect a month's rent unless you had MasterCard Visa. And that way you're complying with the laws. The fourth item here is the actual written annual lease. This is the one that most parties will use and provides for terms for an early termination, like a job transfer or something, or a right to extend the lease beyond a 1-year term. The annual lease for a 1-year rental and beyond, it's a pretty standard content form, legal form, with necessary basics to conform to law. Just do a search on Google for lease agreements and you'll be able to find many free forms right online. What these forms will give you as a landlord is a form, but they won't give you a lot of protection. They're just lay language type forms, so you may have to make some adjustments to that form you've downloaded. It's for this reason that most savvy investors will add a rider or two to the lease. These riders are added to the lease as exhibits A, B, C, and so on. They have to be signed and dated, just as the lease is signed and dated. The rider should be written by an attorney so they conform to the main body of the lease and don't conflict, and they follow the letter of the law. For instance, if you had a date on the main body and then a different date in the rider, you've got a conflict. Now the whole contract is null and void. It's invalid. So you have to be careful about that kind of thing. The next item to consider in your lease is security deposits. How much? Well, this kind of depends on local custom in the area. In the East Coast, it's not unusual to see first, last, and security. Other parts of the country, you just see a 1-month security deposit, or you might even see only like $500 security. So it varies from area to area. It all depends on the local custom, the value of the property, and how you generally feel about your property. It should be quoted the same to all prospects. Don't quote one person one security price and then another person a different price, because you like their names or you like their whatever, okay? You're just going to get in trouble. That's discrimination. The next issue here of the security deposits is basically the dollar amount of the security deposit. Make sure you comply with the state laws and check on maximum amounts. Some states have maximum amounts that they require that you can't exceed it. How you use the deposit, for example, is another thing you have to check on. Can you use it for damage repair, and how the tenant may not use it, like applying to last month's rent or applying to late fees, whatever. So you want to spell those things out on the security deposit. When and how you'll return the security deposit upon move-out and deductions that you might make on the tenant when he moves out. Any legal or non-returnable fees, such as cleaning for pets or cleaning fees. It's also a good idea to check with the state and cities to make sure that there's no special parameters for how you hold a security deposit. Some areas require that you put the security deposit in an interest-bearing account and pay the tenants interest on their money. Now, this is generally done when the building is 4 units and you own all 4 units or more, 6 units, 12 units, because now it's an actual business and they require that you pay the interest on the security deposit to those tenants. Okay, the riders. What can be in the rider? Well, just about anything you want, really, but the first one here is occupancy. It's always a good one to put in there. You're fine with the people you just rented to, but you're not so fine with their children moving in and their grandkids moving in. Now you've got 7 people living in a house that you had 2 people. Obviously, you're going to have more wear and tear. So you want to spell out how many people can be in the house, and visitors can stay for a certain amount of time, but not take up full-time residency. Build in an early termination clause for your protection should they violate a lease. Okay, put that in there. It's a pretty good one. Another good one is a written inspection report grading everything like a report card on the main move-in day of signing of the lease, the inspection with the tenants of the property you're giving them. And grade everything like a report card, excellent, good, fair, and poor. Break it out by room, from floor, ceiling, walls, doors, light fixtures, bulbs. We use a 4 to 6 page form depending on the size of the house. And everything is graded mostly G. E is for, and excellent is for something that's brand new or almost brand new. G means everything's good. F means carpeting maybe has another year or 2 left in it. It's starting to show some spots here and there. So, you're just grading it fairly. P, obviously, it's something we're going to replace pretty soon. There's no as-is condition in leasing. Everything should be in working order, and make sure that it does. Also, take pictures of the inside of the oven and the refrigerator and your dishwasher so you can show what the interiors of things were like. If the house was built prior to 1978, use a lead paint disclaimer on the lease. You don't know that the house didn't have lead paint in it prior to you owning it. Also, another one that's showing up a lot is radon. Radon is radioactive elements in the earth that can affect some areas, so you want to be careful about that as well. Some of these downloads will have it, others won't, so take a look for those 2 items. Another good item might be spell out how the tenant is to take care of the property, harsh chemicals, blah, 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 but normal maintenance also, like changing filters on the AC in the furnace. You want them to change them every month. You don't want to run back and do it. Mowing the lawn and watering. Don't let the grass grow more than 3.5 or 4 inches high, and don't cut it lower than 2 inches, Mr. Tenant. The reason for this is it gets higher than 4 inches or 5 inches, your village or city will give you a fine, a violation, and you're not even there to see it. They cut it lower than 2 inches, your grass burns, and they'll cut it lower than 2 inches so they don't have to do it every week. So you want to be careful of things like that, and spell it out in the rider what you expect. Also, you want to put in the rider how you're going to return the security deposit and how you expect the property when you get it back. Okay, and that's basically you want it broom clean just the way you gave it to them on day 1. Ordinary wear and tear acceptable. Okay. All right, congratulations. You climbed another step in our video series. Let's review what we've done in these videos. You sized up your prospects. You marketed and you caught one and you said, I like these people, they like the house, let's go. You filled out a credit application, you ran the background check, everything was fine. You complied with all laws, fair housing and credit reporting laws. You listened to what they wanted in the lease, and you told them what you wanted and expected, and you guys agreed, and you put the right lease in writing. So that's the first step. You wrote up the lease using an existing form you found online, or you bought in a stationery store, or whatever. You may have added 1 or 2, well, you should have added 1 rider for sure, and that's the inspection rider. I wouldn't do a lease without one. But you added 1 or 2, 3 riders to the lease to spell things out more clearly. You consulted with an attorney or a property manager if you felt uneasy about any part of the process, and took care of it. All right, if you have any questions, give us a call. We're here to help. APM, American Property Management, toll free, 877-415-1617. And look for our next lesson, showing tips. That one's always fun.